What's up, geeks and gamers? It's Jeremy coming to you with another video, and today we're going to talk about the great Steven Spielberg and his comments about Netflix. So I'm sure you've heard about this, but basically Steven Spielberg was somewhat critical of Netflix in terms of if they should be considered for an Academy Award and things of that nature, and he basically made some remarks. I'll read this from Entertainment Weekly, where it said, I don't believe films that are just given token qualifications in a couple of theaters for less than a week should qualify for the Academy nomination. And he went on into more detail about it. Basically, he's just dismissive of Netflix and how Netflix should not be taken seriously for award shows and things like that. Now, first, full disclosure, I don't give a shit about the Academy Awards. I really don't. It's basically political propaganda. It means nothing to me, so that is just out there in the open. But I do remember, and again, Steven Spielberg is objectively the greatest director of all time. I don't mean that he's better than everybody per se, but if you look at the man's resume, you can't argue with what he has done. His impact on Hollywood, his impact on cinema is second to none. He's not my favorite, but the man is just incredible, and he is so influential and powerful, and I don't know if anybody's ever going to be able to duplicate what he has done with his career. It is unbelievable, and I'm a fan, so I am not trying to talk to Steven Spielberg and tell him how he should or shouldn't think. But there is an interesting way I'm going to look at this. And my favorite filmmaker of all time, and who I think is absolutely the best, is Christopher Nolan. And Christopher Nolan has said similar things about Netflix in the past. So these guys, these big Hollywood icons, these directors that are on another level, they clearly have their view of Netflix. And they have a different perspective than a normal person like myself or anybody watching this video. I mean, Christopher Nolan, okay, so I used to really appreciate the theater experience. I used to really honor it and cherish going to the theater and watching my favorite movies. In the last few years, I have really turned into just a negative Nancy when it comes to that. I don't want to go to the theater anymore. I don't look forward to it. I tend to get in confrontations every time I go because there's always some dickbag kid who's on his smartphone right in front of me, or there's some idiot behind me that wants to kick the seat, or there's some moron that wants to go pee 10 minutes after the movie starts, or there's an idiot family that just walks in 20 minutes after the movie starts and they can't find a seat and they're walking around and they stand up the top and they're looking down, and then there's the other person who's waiting for their friend to come in and they wave their phone in the air. It's just a nightmare at this point. People are just morons, and they have ruined the theater experience. But people like Steven Spielberg and Christopher Nolan, they're never going to experience that. They go and watch movies in controlled environments in the best theaters in the world. Do you think there's really some kid smacking popcorn besides Steven Spielberg or Christopher Nolan when they're watching movies? Of course not. There's no kid texting on his iPhone with the brightness turned all the way up right in front of Christopher Nolan as he's trying to watch a film. That's not the reality. So again, if I could watch films in the same settings as Christopher Nolan and Steven Spielberg, then I would be at the movies all the time like I used to be. But that's not the reality of the situation. We are the reality. And I personally am pulling for Netflix to get more and more leverage and more credibility as it moves forward. I'm to the point where I would rather just watch these big budget films in the comfort of my own home on my 4K TV, where I don't have to deal with that little brat on his phone at ultimate brightness right in front of me. That's what I look forward to. So while I understand where Steven Spielberg is coming from his perspective, and I understand where Christopher Nolan's coming from his perspective, and again, these are two guys that I have ultimate respect for, and I will never ever pretend that I belong on the same pedestal as them in terms of speaking about the movie business. But as a consumer, I don't think they understand how frustrating it is to go to the movies. Number one, you have to pay so much money at this point. Like, it is so expensive to go to the movies now. It's ridiculous. Don't throw the movie pass crap at me either. When I go see movies, I want to see them in IMAX. And I can't go see movies in IMAX with that stupid movie pass. I don't like restrictions on my movie theater experience. I don't want to go to the theater in the back corner with the speaker blown out and all the torn up seats. I want to go see it in IMAX when I go see movies. So don't throw the movie pass crap at me. But that's just where we're at, where it's just like, yeah, I get where they're coming from, but they are the minority, the slimmest of minorities, because they watch films like we all wish we could, but we don't. So I would love to hear Christopher Nolan and Steven Spielberg go to the movies on a Saturday night around 7:30 when all those kids are in the theater and all those little I'm trying not to cuss, but when all those little brats are in the theater and all those parents and those people that want to show up 10 minutes after it starts and they want to walk around the theater with their whole congregation just distracting the hell out of it and wait for the old woman to get up like 20 minutes after it starts and take forever to walk across the theater just to go pee. I would love to see Christopher Nolan's reaction after that. Letting the kid kick his seat for the whole movie. Then let's see what you think about the theater experience every single weekend you go. That's the way I'm looking at it. So, yeah, that's my take on it. So I don't know if that made a lot of sense, but screw it, I'm uploading it. You guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.